Sam.
Hey, just with the movement at cornerback this offseason, there's been speculation that you potentially could play inside again. Just wondered if you've had any, obviously it'd be pretty early, but any preliminary conversations about moving around again or shadowing receivers and just kind of where you envision your role. Like I said, I know it's pretty early.
Yeah, yeah, no. During our actual exit interviews with Coach Spags and OBC, they kind of talked about that, wanting to put it back at inside, certain situations, things like that. And kind of just allow me to influence the game a little bit more in there, a little bit more blitz and things like that. But as far as playing outside, matching up, it's still early, but like I told them, like anything I can do, truly, like outside, inside, cover, whoever you need me to do, like that's where I stand ever since I came in, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do.
Was there an aspect of that game, like particularly the blitzing, that you felt like you just kind of missed doing as frequently as you had the year before?
I mean, yeah, I had a lot of fun. You know what I mean? I think I told you guys that year I was playing nickel. Like that was my first time blitzing, first time being able to do that. So anytime I was at nickel, I was always praying that I was blitzing just because, Spags has some great blitzes dialed up for us. But yeah, I'm excited. I watched back the tape of my year, watched some few other guys around the league at nickel, just making sure I'm always ready, whenever they need to use me, put me in there, making sure I can go in there and execute properly.
Thanks, Trent.
Yeah.
We'll go next to Pete Sweeney. Pete?
Trent, hope you're doing well. Just curious about the Justin Reed departure and
Yeah.
how that might impact the team and how maybe is that motivating for you in a way to kind of step into the lead there?
Yeah, I love Jay Reed. You know what I mean? I was actually with him at one of our teammates' weddings this past off season, so I was able to talk to him a little bit and congratulate him with the new baby and stuff. But he's a great player. He's one of those vets that knew the defense really well. We all had a lot of trust in him, and you can see on the field like he's one of those dudes that we really relied on. So losing him always is a big factor, but. The guys that we have right now, Shamari Connors, Jaden Hicks, Brian Cook. I mean, we got Mike Edwards back. All guys who know the defense really well. All guys who played a long time, and all guys that I know when we're on the back end with me, like I trust them fully. So it's always a shame. It's part of the game when guys leave, but I know these new guys and some guys who have already been around here are ready to step into that role.
We'll go next to Jesse Newell. Go ahead, Jesse.
Thanks, Kelsey. I have a follow-up too. Hey, Trent, speaking of Justin, he came to your defense with the fifth-year option, the Pro Bowl thing that happened where you guys
Yeah,
used the Pro Bowl. It cost you $4 million. I don't think we asked you about it. I just wondered what your thoughts were that something like that cost you $4 million.
yeah, coming into the league, knowing that that was an option, I think my agent talked to me a little bit about it, but Um, I mean, for me, like I always tell you guys, like it would be amazing to be a Pro Bowler, amazing to hit the highest marks. You know what I mean? You want to get paid the most for what you do, but at the end of the day, like my job was to come here and be successful with the team. And I mean, I got two Super Bowl championships, and just a lot of guys that have trusted me. So when you talk about money, I mean, that'll always come. You know what I mean? As long as I'm doing my job on the field, that'll come. So not really hanging my head over it. It's something I can't change. I didn't make it. It is what it is, and I'm just looking to keep pushing forward and continue to hit new goals that I set for myself.
And speaking of money, we talked with Brett Beach last week. He said eventually this offseason probably be talking to your guys' camp about potentially an extension. I just wondered, in general, your thoughts of potentially, locking in long term with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I love the city. You know what I mean? I love the coaches, love my teammates. I would love to be back with the team. As far as contract wise, I mean, truly, I'm letting my agent deal with that. Like my sole focus this year and moving forward is just football, and I love what this team has done for me, and I love what I've been able to do for them. So if it's a long term deal, I mean, I'd be ecstatic. That's for sure.
We'll go next to Adam Teicher. Adam?
Hey, Trent. Wanted to ask about Christian Fulton.
Yeah.
How well do you know him and his game, and what are your thoughts about him joining the Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm excited. Haven't got to really be around him too much just because everybody's all over the place. But excited to get back in the building with him, and kind of just learn from him. I mean, I watched him last year when we played the Chargers and kind of just watching their defense and just seeing how he's able to move, seeing how he's able to match up against guys. He plays with the ball really well. And he's a really good corner. He's a vet and someone I know he's going to come in and be able to produce for us. And I think that was one of the first conversations I had with him was he was just like, I want to come in here and just do what I can for the team. And, I just love when Beach brings in people like that who aren't really here for their individual accolades, but really just for the team and coming in and supporting the team. And that's just the vibe I got from him. And I know he's going to be able to come in here and make a name for himself for real.
We'll go next to Matt Derrick. Matt?
Hey, Trent. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, my guy.
Hey, two questions for you, if you and Kelsey don't mind. But first one, now that it's going to be your fourth year in the league, has your off-season routine changed any as far as how you get ready and how you prepare for getting ready for really more of the off-season before you
Yeah.
move to the season?
Yeah. I think it's changed more really this offseason in terms of just the amount of time I've spent on like preparing my body, not as much of the heavy back squatting, the heavy lifting, trying to just be powerful and stuff, but really like learning how my body moves, really trying to get the mobility in my body, and honestly just trying to work on my speed. Like every day that I wake up, it's some type of speed work. And for me, I tell all these high school kids I come talk to and all these dudes who are trying to get to where I'm at, I'm like, when you get to the league, like everybody's fast, everybody's strong, everybody does, like the best of the best. And so to give yourself a little advantage, one, speed helps, but two, just being able to be out there 24/7, being able to play a full season. I was able to do the past 2 years, and just making yourself available, is the biggest thing for me, and kind of what I started to make my off season planning for, allow my body just to prepare for when it comes to training camp and not being ready like right now, May 2nd.
And Andy Reid, he once they went virtual for this phase back during COVID, he stayed with it.
Yeah.
So you've never known anything differently than doing it virtual. How do you, we probably hear from your friends around the league who have already been back to practice, or maybe for a couple of weeks if they have a new coach. How much do the players appreciate, being able to have that flexibility during this phase? And how do you spend phase one?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I love it, especially, I mean, I've been to the Super Bowl the past 3 years, so like I don't know what a shorter offseason really is, but just giving us like an extra 1 or 2 weeks, honestly, is so helpful. Just mentally for me, I always come back to California and just be around my family. Try to get away from all the hoopla of the season and football, and really just come back to like real life, and just realize there's more than football out here. I worked on my foundation a lot this offseason, and trying to just get more out into the community is really how I spend my phase one. And always come onto the virtual meetings, try to get back in the playbook. And I feel like these 2 weeks is such a pivotal time for not only new players, but like for me, who I've been a part of this defense. I know what Spags likes to do, but every time you open up the playbook, every time we have meetings like this, you always learn a few little nuggets that I'm like, oh, dang, I forgot about that. Or, oh, that's something new that I didn't know these past 2 years. So it's really just a learning time for me, and a way for me to kind of re-lock in and understand it's football season again, which I love.
Looks like we have a couple more for you. We'll go first to Mick Schaefer. Go ahead, Mick.
Hey, Trent, a draft question for you. Can you take me back to 2022 in the draft? Veach mentioned last week that in their mind, you kind of slid. They thought you would go higher, and that's when they pulled the trigger to make the trade up. Were you sliding in your mind? What was that night like? All the emotions. I know what Coach Reed and maybe Veach as well were on the phone. What was that phone call like? Can you just take me through the highs and maybe lows of that night?
Yeah. Man, I remember going, and we rented out this real nice hotel, got a little room, brought all my family there. And for me, night one, I was like, I don't think I'm going to go. Like, to be honest, I did not think I was going first round. I thought I was going day two. So I was like, night one, let's all just get together, enjoy the draft, like have fun, like enjoy the hoopla. I don't think I'm going to go today. So like, let's really just kick back, relax, like watch the show and see where it ends. And yeah, during the night, I mean, I was really chilling. Like, I was on the couch watching everybody get drafted, talking to my agent, talking to my family. And then I just remember my phone went off. It was Kansas City. And like, to me, I was already like, whoa, like I didn't know they were on the board. I didn't know that was like a team that was looking at me. And yeah, I just remember picking it up. I talked to Beach, talked to Coach Reed, talked to Spags. And like, I always say during that phone call, it's funny because I look back and like, I didn't really know who I was talking to. I didn't know who the coaches were, like who Veach was. Like, I had zero communication. So like, for me and the Chiefs, that was like my first time even hearing voices. And then I always look back at like with the Chiefs post, and it's like the conversation. I'm like, oh, that's who that was. Oh, that was the person I was talking to. So it was a really fun night. It was exciting when I got drafted for sure, not knowing that I was going to go. And I always shout out just the family, because they were really the ones that kind of held it down, kind of allowed me to not worry so much. They didn't put too much pressure on the night. They were just like, let's just go out there and whatever happens, happens. And we're proud of you no matter what. So that really allowed that anxiety and everything that builds up in the draft kind of just wash away. And now I can look back and have a fond memory of it.
We'll go last to Todd Lebo. Todd?
Hey, Trent, a couple questions. First off, on that virtual side of doing this, as Matt mentioned, and you probably were doing college classes virtually and all that, so it's a little more used to it. Coach mentioned that, it's a different thing for them. You don't maybe get the reaction by showing stuff on the big screen. How do you stay engaged during the virtual part of these meetings to get the most out of it that's maybe a little different from being in person?
Yeah, I mean, notebook. Take notes. Honestly, I mean, I'm always want to do that. I'm always taking notes, but especially when you get on Zoom, I'm home, comfortable. Like, I'm not in the classroom. Like, they can't just see what I'm doing unless I'm, on the screen. But yeah, just taking notes, like, of literally the basics of basics. Like, I'm writing down in our notes today of the DB rules, rules of the room, like just things like that where like it just allows you to stay engaged, kind of like you said. And it kind of just over the 2 hours of just sitting here watching the screen all day, it kind of gets mundane. It kind of gets boring because, you can't go laughing with your players or, turn around and make a joke or something like that. But yeah, taking notes and honestly just being engaged because they're always asking questions, so they kind of do a good job at not just sitting there and having a PowerPoint and just going through a PowerPoint. Like, there's still conversation. We're still joking around and stuff. So it's not too bad.
And on that contract side, I know you're leaving this to your agents. The Chiefs have not really paid cornerbacks. I mean, that's not what they've done with the second contract. A lot of, Legarius is gone and they let Charvarius Ward go. I mean, is that just maybe happenstance, or is that something you and your agent have talked about? This would be a big deal if they signed you to a second contract?
I haven't really thought of it like that. Obviously losing LJ was sad for me and like Jerry and stuff. So I know it's a business. Coming into the league, you're taught that this is a business, things happen. But like I keep telling my agent, and like I tell everybody, as long as I'm producing on the field, as long as I'm maximizing every opportunity and putting my best foot forward, at the end of the day, whatever they choose, I can live with, and as long as I'm cool in the community, as long as everybody around me on the team, in the community, just what I'm about, what I'm a part, that's all I can do. And if they want to sign me, I would love to. If they don't, I mean, there's nothing but love for Kansas City for me, for sure. So whatever happens, happens.